everyone, it's Jeff Lauder back again from Auto Ohio with co-host Samantha Rayburn. We're here again at the Timbercrest RV Park, which is an RV park right now, but in mid-June it turns into a haven of self-sustaining lifestyle education, the Food Independence Summit. And I was here with we were here with co-founder John Miller a few minutes ago. We're here with Arlen Miller now, and we talked about the speakers and a great speaking lineup, but this year we have, and I know you're really interested in this, the wide variety, there's even more workshops this year, and maybe you could tell us a little bit about that, about what people can expect, what they can learn and observe firsthand.
Yeah, so I think the morning sessions, those on the main stage are inspirational, and it's a shot in the arm in the morning. And then when they head out to these workshops, which is right on these grounds with tents, then they get to interact with each other. And it seems in the last 5 years, when people were beginning to be suspect of pretty much anything in a bag or anything that had more than 6 ingredients, they were ready to get some dirt under the fingernails. And though we don't we're not out digging, but we are giving practical instruction on how to do. The one workshop will be sourdough, which is a big deal, and there's so many things that will give people, like for the beekeeping, we're saying beekeeping, how to get started this year, and we want people to come and get a shot in the arm, but we want them to be able to go home today or this week, the week following the event, and be able to get a bee without being scared. So I think the big thing is you can see things on YouTube, but when you come here and are able to talk with someone who's doing it, you can then go home without fear to take the first step and learn and learn and learn.
Kind of reminds me of raising my kids. Experience is everything. It's huge. More is caught than taught. And the same is true with us as adults. We learn by experience. We gain wisdom and knowledge by interacting with one another and hands-on learning. I love it.
Yeah, so I guess I could go from transitioning from a city guy to a country boy to being able to go to all these workshops. I could attend all of them and actually maybe know what I'm doing. Do you think I would last through a chicken calling or chicken butchering workshop?
You might. I was thinking we'll graduate you from the concrete jungle into God's jungle.
But that's another example, like you have the chick, I don't know if Joel's teaching that again this year or someone else.
John Moody.
Okay, so you can learn everything from growing to culling chickens to what I think you have other, like hog butchering.
Yeah, actually not hog butchering, but there's new for this year is there's a local two men who teach butchering. So they were planning to have a beef rib out and on the table, and they're going to show how to process, what you can take out of a beef rib. And then also following that session will be hand butchering tools of how to you don't need a big chainsaw, what's it called, not chainsaw, big table saw to cut, and if you like electric equipment, you can get a few simple tools to be able to get started. And I think that's also at a very grassroots level. You can start this week, you can start today, in terms of being able to start somewhere, because the whole homesteading thing, there's so many roots and so many branches, but you can start at the taproot. You can be informed with what you should ask the local produce grower or the local farmer on the chickens that you buy there, or the meat that you buy there, and you get all that access here.
And that's interesting because and I know you've grown up all your life in this type of lifestyle, or for someone like me who's fairly new, I know I've met a lot of people here where people come here because they want to learn, or maybe people grew up in a rural lifestyle, but they want to get new skills. So there's always something, whether you're a beginner or intermediate or you're advanced in certain areas, and you might want to learn something. Like maybe you know everything else, but you want to learn how to do beekeeping, or you want to learn tinctures, or you want to get chickens for meat and learn how to process them. And I think that's what the fascinating part of the workshop element of this.
Yes,
So, do you have anything else to add about anything new this year that people can expect?
Let's see. We're the chicken butchering. Actually, the beekeeping. Just to change things up, we decided last year we just wouldn't have beekeeping, and then we had at least 6 requests that they didn't see beekeeping, and so of course we're bringing that full force back this year with a local beekeeping lady who has experience and who's able to talk about how to take the first step. And even for experienced, of course, they'll be able to talk and have a conversation, and she's going to be able to give more experience, more advanced information in beekeeping. And also with the beef, that's a big deal, the sourdough. And I'm talking to an Amish lady about showing how to make snacks for the children that possibly they even can make it themselves along with their parents. And it's so broad. And I'd say come and experience it. You won't be disappointed if you're looking for homesteading pointers.
What are you looking most forward to? Is there any particular one that you've heard?
I'm not sure. I like the meat. I've actually done some butchering myself with my family over the years. But I don't know. I'm sure that you'll probably have something along the lines of something I'm very interested in, like kefir milk or something like that. I've always wanted to learn how to make that. I know churning butter was something that I used to enjoy. So I know there will be things here that I'm interested in. Beekeeping is something I'm very interested in. I have a brother-in-law who does that, but I've never been able to do it with him.
Yeah, that's just as we talked about in the first segment with John, the Make America Healthy Again movement is really illustrated the importance of what the Food Independence Summit is all about. The seed to spoon, as you said, there's many aspects of it. It's not just one. So that's why you could go to foodindependence.life to see the workshop schedule. It'll keep being updated. Speaking schedule will be updated. We're going to have more bios on there, so you'll be able to, and on Ohio will be promoting this all the way up to June and then covering it. So is there anything else you'd like to add in closing?
I'm just thinking of more that are coming. There's a lady who will show us how to do a garden plan, how to plant out your garden, and then also a herb walk out into she needs to hear probably 1st of May or so, she'll be walking out and seeing what's actually here that we can talk about, and then she'll bring some other plants to talk about as far as herbs to forage yourself that you might have in your own backyard or along the fence lines.
That's what I do.
Oh, I see.
I do that exact same thing.
Oh, wow.
I started out making my own tinctures just from foraging all of the stuff in the woods and the backyard, because I lived on a homestead where I was able to, we had 100 acres that I could go anywhere I needed or wanted, and I didn't know anything about herbs other than the fact that stinging nettle, my dad always pointed it out to me when I was growing up, and it can make your legs itch and things like that. He said, Sammy, you should always learn those herbs. There's so much healing in the plants. He said, but I don't know any of it. And then so that kind of fostered that desire, so that when I became an adult and my boys were little, I wanted to learn how to treat them myself, and it was fascinating. So I used to print. We didn't have internet for long, so I would print off pictures of the plants, and then I would go out and find them. I'd bring them back to the house, and I'd dry them out. So that's really awesome. I love that you have someone here to do that.
And one thing that's coming back that was here last year and is a pretty big deal is vermiculture. And there was actually, we did have it last year, but there was also a request for it also. And Greg Stover is coming to talk about that again. And it's just, I believe it's just recently that it's been confirmed by several universities that what comes out of a worm is 100% humus. And that's a big deal in the garden and the soil building world. And it's almost, when you look at what he calls it, worm tea or worm juice, and water that goes through the worm castings, and then he spreads that on the garden, and his plants just go wild.
That's amazing.
Tomatoes the size of a quart jar.
Wow.
Well, we appreciate you, Arlen Miller of the Food Independence Summit, for joining us. And here on Ohio, we're going to be having ongoing coverage, ongoing stories, ongoing videos on the Food Independence Summit, Superb Canning and Berlin Seeds, all the way up to June 18th and 19th, and then coverage on June 18th and 19th. And it's going to be a lot warmer, unless I know we get crazy weather around here. I'm sure it won't be 30 degrees here in June. So next time we're here, we're going to be coming here to cool off and to take a break from all these great workshops and speakers. So we appreciate you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you again.